hi.
Thanks for having me. Once I know how to start the presentation, I can. Does everyone have a raffle ticket? Because at the end of it, I'm actually gonna give this away with the raffle. Does everyone have a raffle ticket? Because we're gonna give this one away after the presentation through a drawing, so.
Hold it up close to your mouth.
All right.
Did they leave them?
There we go. What?
Did they leave them in there from last time?
I don't know.
If we want,
I'm
we don't have a ticket.
Oh,
Only people I have.
let's make sure that everyone has a ticket.
Yeah, only the people that have what are eligible.
Yeah. I can do like I Spy. Or whoever can say my last name properly for the first time. It is quite a challenge. We might be here for a while.
Hand out different tickets if you want.
Oh, yeah, as long as it's fair for everyone, it's just we can do it, yeah, all right. Do I get a clicker? Is this my clicker?
Yeah.
Perfect,
Be a minute to get.
yeah.
So we're gonna. We're gonna give everybody another ticket for this drawing for this. So he'll be coming around passing those out here. Yeah. In the meantime, you can get started.
Thank you.
Your tickets.
You're doing, what is it?
Kaftanoglu.
All right, who was that? You did well, sir, you did well. I'm glad we're handing out the tickets. Kaftanoglu, yes.
This is a silent G.
It is a silent G.
Okay.
My name is Korhan Kaftanoglu, and I'm the owner of the Apimaye beehives, Apimaye insulated beehives. I am not a beekeeper myself. I'm a beekeeper by proxy. I've been that kid that like held the flashlight when the dad is like working on the car kind of thing. I know bees. I will help my dad help us do his beekeeping. He's 73 and I'll go to the yard with him, but I tell him like, hey, this is your hobby, which is also a way for me to force him to reduce from 200 plus to somewhat manageable, like 10 hives or so. Because I mean, we're based in Phoenix, it's 120 degrees, we're in the desert, and getting in those beekeeping suits and just like doing beekeeping in the 120 degrees outside weather is not necessarily the most entertaining, fun thing for a 30 or 40-year-old want to do over a weekend. So this is a yard in Maryland featuring that R7 frame hives, which is a unique size, but I'm going to tell you all about it and why it is the greatest thing ever. All right. So what do I press to go next? Or should I do it here?
Right now.
Right now. This one. Yeah, that's it. All right. So we're a family of beekeepers. My dad is a retired professor. He was the head of the honeybee research labs at Arizona State University. He got his PhD on honeybees in the 1970s. And then had to go back to Turkey for mandatory teaching service, where he taught for 20 plus years. And this is basically my sister and me. And this is where I peaked at my cuteness around like 6 years old or so. And are you really a beekeeper if you do not force your kids to hold a frame and take a picture? No, I don't know. So this is us, and we're a family company. We're actually a lot smaller than people think, as my dad's a bee professor. My mom's, again, a beekeeper by proxy, by marriage. She's our queen bee, and it's like 2 workers. You know, have three, but like, we're small, we're small. We just wanted to have a better beehive, a better beekeeping experience. And this beehive was designed by bee scientists and bee engineers, so it was not me who did it. In fact, my parents went to Korea, South Korea for Apimaye in 2014, I believe. And they saw this beehive winning the Innovation in Beekeeping Award in the Apimaye conference. And basically my dad asked like, wow, like you guys are from Turkey as well? Like who built this? Who helped you this? And it turns out it was all my dad's then PhD students who are professors helped this plastic company build this beehive. And of course, my dad did every professor would do, grab a pen and paper and start grading their work. And it's just like, this is good, this is great, you're gonna change this, you're gonna do this. So after giving it an A minus, he actually said that you gotta do this, this, and this change. So we started a partnership with the manufacturing, say that we're gonna help you build a better beehive and you're gonna build it for us. So we built that partnership, and every year we're coming out with small changes. Some of them you may see, some of them you may not see, but we always make sure that it's backwards compatible. So even if you buy now and I come up with a feature, 3 years from now, you can always implement it. So I'm going to show you more about that. Our focus is to increase the survival rate, productivity of the honeybee colonies, fulfill the needs of the beekeepers in different climates. Because I'm in Arizona, I do not have a winter survival problem. We have a summer survival problem. The bees cannot bring water fast enough, they cannot fan enough, and the honey starts melting and killing the entire colony. So you don't, it's not just warped wax foundation, it is literally honey oozing out of the entrances of the beehives, and you see all the colonies are dead. So we have a much different problem than like our beekeepers in Alaska, for instance. And again, to make the beekeeping easier and encourage local backyard beekeeping, we always believe in like backyard beekeeping. That's like, it's nice to have local, it's nice to have local beekeepers like helping the yards and orchards of your neighbors. We're internationally recognized, as I said, like first place winner in the Apimaye in Innovation in Beekeeping Award. That's where we found them. And we got countless 5-star reviews from the happy beekeepers. So one thing about the like making it better, easier to use beehive. I'm gonna do a trauma dump. So in 1995, I was 12 years old. My dad was gonna carry about like a truckload of like woodenware honeybees from our city to up in the mountains for like wildflowers. And we were carrying them at night, or we were just loading them at night, but old woodenware, old equipment. Someone was just basically closing the entrances, like nailing them, and someone else was mudding them because they were so warped and they were in bad shape that there were cracks and whatnot. They had a bucket of mud that they were mudding around the hives just to make sure nothing comes out. It was night. I didn't realize one of the hives was not properly closed and not mudded. I just grabbed it. Of course, like barely a teenager, you're kind of forced to be there. I grabbed it, put it on the back of the truck, and 3 minutes later, there's chaos. It turns out that hive was never closed, that was never nailed, and there was just angry bees everywhere. And I got stung probably 50+ times that night, and just went home, still can hear the bees. Like I said, I just don't want to do that again. I want to have a better experience, beekeeping experience. So we have an insulated beehive. I'm not going to claim it's R7. I got a PhD in electrical engineering. I do my math, and if I claim it's 7, and you take it to a lab and they say it's 693, I don't want to be held responsible for that. So we're the only accredited, tested one for the insulation value. We're at our 693, and it is made by blow molding HDP plastic with UV additives, and this is food grade plastic. And inside there's the insulation foam. It is a closed cell foam. It's a high density one that you use on the roofs so people can walk on the roof. I'm just gonna pass this around to see how it looks like inside and how sturdy it is. You can just try to pinch it. So that special filling material is used both on the walls and on the top. So we got R7 insulation all around. Installation helps. We heard about Nathan's presentation as well. They consume significantly less food in the winter. And they can survive harsher or longer winters or any cold snaps, because our value is, again, the rate of penetration for the heat through a substance. And if it is resisting the heat difference, temperature difference, it's gonna basically survive the cold snaps better. Just like your thermos doesn't know if it's got hot coffee in it or iced tea, it doesn't matter, like the insulation is always useful and will always be used even in the summer. So people ask, do I really need insulation in the summer? In our case, you do. It's nice to have. Because fewer bees will die in the winter, but the spring buildup is gonna be faster. We can get up to 3 splits in our hives in the spring in Arizona. So usually basically an extra split in addition, like compared to the woodenware. So if you're selling colonies, it's always nice to have them grow in an insulated beehive, ideally mine. And in the summer, more foraging, less fanning in the summer. Again, fewer bees will be bringing in water and fanning and bearding, and more of them will be just bringing nectar as long as there's nectar flow. Just to show how insulation matters, that one is a customer photo from Michigan. And this is our apiary in the desert, and it was in summer. It was a brutal summer. I think we constantly hit 115 in the shade. I think like 10 or 15 times that year. And insulation does really make a big difference. And when it's in the desert, you can see that we have water towers just trying to get a close water source to the bees. And all right, so this is my beehive. It comes completely assembled and has all these things in it. It comes with a lot of standard accessories. So they're equipped with many features. They got the screen bottom boards, which I'm going to show, and they have a built-in pollen trap. So if you're ever collecting pollen, it has become increasingly a product in demand, and especially in farmers markets. So we have a lot of customers that like sell honey and pollen in the farmers market. So they are benefiting from that. And we got adjustable entrance reducers for it, like just make it a lot easier to close them and carry them. Because of my trauma dump, we want to make sure that everything is sealed properly. Our brood boxes and sweepers, they're all standard length strap sides, and they have ventilation, extra ventilation entrances. So if you want to open them for extra ventilation as you're carrying them, you can do it. They're standard, so you can use your wooden frames inside. You can use your wood boxes on top. As you can see, it's just like all you have to do is just put your 10 frame wood boxes in the summer if you want right on top of it. So you don't have to have an adapter. You don't need to have an exclusive. It's not like having a lightning port that you can't use other like USB-C kind of thing. So it comes with the queen excluders, frame spacers, division boards, which I'm going to talk all about. It has, we have propolis strap, which is made from like the baking silicone. So unlike many propolis straps, it's not a standard accessory. It comes as an addition, but the propolis, I don't know if you ever collected it. It is a sticky gummy substance when it's room temperature, but becomes brittle like a glass when it's frozen. So we have this like big propolis strap made from baking silicone, where you can easily roll it, put it in the freezer, and once you open it, it's all just like easily collected. And finally, we have, now that I know that you guys have a dearth period, what we call a jumbo feeder, but I also call it a dearth waiter. You put it on top of the beehives. It's a top feeder that takes like 2.5 gallons. So if you have bees out in the remote, you can just fill it with 2.5 gallons of syrup and not worry about like them not fed. So I did an apples to apples comparison. The price originally might be a little expensive for someone who hears it for the first time. It's like $225 without frames. But they're like, why is it that expensive? And it turns out, if you add all the features that we have on our beehive and go to the big name store that I can't name, and start adding all of them into the, into your cart. No matter how many stars it has, it might be a pollen trap, but only 1 star because it's just taken every other leg of the bees. But it is the cheapest one available. So you add all those features like the insulated telescopic cover, the top feeders, the pollen trap, the mouse guard, light beetle trap, insulation, queen excluder, division board, and add all those stuff. Yeah, the $165.95 hive, you add another $215 in accessories, it becomes $381. So I tell people like, yeah, you might have an initial sticker shock a little bit, but if you want to have all these features, it's going to be a lot more if you actually start adding them with time. And because everything comes assembled and integrated together, your hive is not going to look like Frankenstein's monster. So I have very sturdy beehives. They're not bear proof, but they're bear resistant. And we constantly receive emails. They have survived multiple bear attacks, wildlife. We have bees and beekeepers. We have some customers that have their hives right next to cattle. So the cattle knock them down, the deer may knock them down, or a tree might fall. So we got one customer that said the wood boxes on the same stand were shattered and eaten by at least 2 bears. This box was knocked down and abused across the yard, but held tight, and bees are mostly all right. Thank you for building such a strong product. So this was the wooden box that the bear really enjoyed. And this was our 7-frame hive that got just dragged around. And they usually can smell the honey from the upper vents and the entrances. So they go for there, which is kind of weak points, but because everything's locked and latched together, whenever the bears knock them down, it just falls as a single piece, surprise the bear, and by then bees are aggravated and they get out and they start attacking the bear. And we actually have a video of that thing. So this is from a customer in Lake Tahoe. This is a big brown bear. You can smell the honey. So on the top vents, he can smell the honey and goes on it, climbs on our hive, and knocks it down. It falls as a single piece, just hive, bear surprise, and what's going on, and where do I get in? And in a few seconds, the bees are going to start coming out, and you're going to see the bear running. So stop this in here because there's nothing else happening. Where is it? I also, no, let's go back to the other side. Okay, so I also have another email that says just like, in terms of durability, besides the minor rusting and discoloration, and the discoloration did happen in this color, like the honey colored hives. So we switched mostly to white because, I mean, we want our hives to be very maintenance free, and because they all come pre-assembled and you never have to do anything. If you want to clean it, just pressure wash it. And it's like, if it fades, it may not look as good in your backyard. So white is not going to fade into any other color. Recent ice storms caused the Virginia pine to fall directly onto one of my Apimaye hives and also into the adjacent black locust tree. The giant pine is still parked right on top of the Apimaye, and said pine is partially propping up the locust. The 4x4 under the hive was cut deep by the hive's intact base, and cracks split the lumber right down the center. Cinder block underneath is completely shattered. Bees have even survived, and the Apimaye truly saved my house from a ton of damage. So we saved this guy's roof by holding the tree, giant tree. Now, how is it? How can it withstand? Because we over-engineered our product, and I'll show you that. So this is a 7-frame hive. It's very similar to our 10-frame hive, and all the parts. I'm just gonna put this down. Try to be louder. So all our zippers just stack on top of each other like Legos, and they have locks and latches. So everything gets latched together, but the difference in our products is all these locks and latches are actually secured in the back with the steel plate. So we have like a 3/16 inch thick steel plate that, and all our latches and screws, all our latches are getting screwed into the anchor plate with machine screws. So it's not just like screw going into foam, because foam is not gonna hold your screws. So when everything is anchored with steel structure, they can withstand a lot of damage. In terms of integration, as I said, it's compatible with your standard wooden ware. Just dump your beads, dump your wooden ware, dump your frames, or if you have additional supers, continue using them. You can use, if you're using any broodminder sensors or scales, they're compatible. Or if you are a maker and want to make something for our products, we're happy to be a platform. We had one customer, Aperture up here, they love our products. He's got a 3D printer and he's like, hey, can I sell frame hangers for your products? Yes, please. I'll send you the dimensions and everything. So if you're the kind of person that like, hey, I want to build something, I want to build something for yours, like I'll be happy to just work with you guys. Also, I'm happy to work with anyone selling colonies and doing other beekeeping operations and like wholesalers. I'll be happy to work with them, you guys as well. So let's talk about the 7-frame nuke hive, which is what I call the Swiss Army knife of beehives, because anything you want to do as a beekeeper, this is going to make your life a lot easier. It is the only non-standard product that I have. It is 7 frames. It's actually 3 + 3 and the division board, but if you take the division board, it's 7 frames. It's perfect for beekeepers who don't want to lift much. I have a very large base of beekeepers who carry hives constantly from one location to another, so they want something secure and small. Also, I have elderly people, people with disabilities, and 7-frame, it turns out 7-frame deep is the same weight as a 10-frame medium. So if you decide that one day the 10-frame deeps are actually too heavy to lift to do a daily operation and you want to switch to an all medium hive, you need to get rid of all the frames, you need to get rid of all the build and basically restart. And I tell people, like, instead of like switching to all medium, you can just switch to a narrower deep, which is like our 7-frame deep, which is the same thickness as same weight as an all medium hive. And because we have latches and handles, you actually lift the body, you lift the hives and supers with your entire body versus your forearm. So lifting all our equipment is a lot easier. And even when they're filled with honey, and I'm talking about like 10-frame boxes, 2 people can get on each side and just lift it from each side and put it in the back of the truck or wherever you're going to carry it. It comes with almost all the features of our 10-frame hives. It just, our 10-frame hives come with a pollen trap. It just, this one does not, that's the only difference. And same installation, includes the top feeders, division board, entrance reducers, and a mouse guard and mite tray. Again, the stainless steel latches, handles, we're the only ones with that. It's got 6 adjustable entrances. So it has 2 sliders in the front where you can have like 2 different colonies. 2 round entrances in the front and another 2 round entrances in the back. Here. So you can actually use it as to host 2 or more colonies in there, and I'm going to go into that very shortly. Again, UV resistant additives, make sure that they don't fade and they can be used for many years. We've been using it in Arizona since 2016, and it is like about 10% humidity, under 15, 120 degrees, terrible for plastic. They've survived so far, and we give lifetime warranty on our products. So what can we use this for? You can overwinter small colonies, because if you give them too much space, if you got a small colony that maybe you caught a late swarm and you just want to make sure that they make it through the winter, you can put them in a smaller box like this. You can use it as queen mating boxes, a timing box for queen rearing and grafting, I'm gonna show how to do that, and you can transport colonies. I know many people use this as transportation pods because once you close it, this whole sealed, you can just put it in the back of your car and take it to the next location. You can do walkaway splits. All you have to do is just put the division board in it and close the entrance on one side and open the entrance on the back. And you can easily use it as like a meeting next and do like walkaway splits. You can catch swarms because it is very easy to carry. Again, when you're on top of a ladder and you're working in the heat, possibly Africanized bees in our case, you just want to make sure that your equipment is sturdy and doesn't fall apart. And you can keep it as a resource hive. We've seen, like we heard how Blake was saying, having a resource hive around like a small colony is very useful. So it has different combinations because of the division board. You can use it as like a 7-frame hive, 3+3 mating nukes. You can use it as a 5+1 timing box, and you can use it as like a 1+1+1, so a queen castle. So I'm going to drop the microphone and show the product. So our top cover is insulated. It has a groove for latching it and strapping it. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. So all our top covers have a strapping groove. So if you need to secure it for any other reason, let's say you've got 20 of this in the back of your F-150, you can do it. All our hives, if you want to palletize them, they you can stack them. 1 second. So they're designed to carry multiple of them together. So again, everything, all these pieces stack on top of each other like Legos. We have the top feeders, so you can have 2 different small 3-frame colonies getting fed at the same time without disturbing them. Each of these feeders take about like one pint of sugar water. You can put your pollen patties or fauna if you want under the feeders, and it still has enough space. Yeah. So lefty, I should have done this. You can use your regular wooden frames, or we have these special plastic frames, which are great for relocation and comb honey and going foundationless. So assume that you want to do like a comb honey, and you can just split this open from the middle. Put the foundation in between, just put it back together. If you're ever doing relocation and cut comb, you open a wall and you want to save the brood there, just split this open, put the cut comb in between, and when you close it, I'm just going to show it here. When you close it, these support columns actually work as rubber bands, so you don't need to use your rubber bands. You can easily transfer the comb from one, just from the wall into the hive. You can use the division board to divide it into having 2 different colonies. You can split it in the middle. It's kind of hard to show, but you're always welcome to come see it after the presentation. And I also have a setup where you divide it, you can isolate the last frame and put a fully drawn comb in here. Put the queen in here. My division board has 3 settings. This one is the division setting. And this one is a pheromone setting. So if you're going to combine 2 colonies, let's say you had a weak colony, you're going to put another, you found a swarm, you couldn't find the queen, you're going to combine them together, just put it in the middle, put the pheromone setting, and close where you put the, close the entrances of where you put the swarm. Come back a few days later, combine them, because by then they'll get used to the smell of the queen bee, and you're going to have one larger unified colony. Or it has another option of queen excluder. That's when you isolate the last frame. Put a fully drawn comb in here with your queen, and come back 4 days later and use it as a timing box and start grafting from here. If you're serious about grafting, actually you can get another division board and isolate the seventh frame as well. So now you have one queen, 4 frames, and another one. And if you're more serious, you buy another one and you can actually use what 1, 1, 1, 1 and use it as a queen castle because it's got multiple entrances. You can have 4 different small colonies and keep it as a queen bed. So that is one of the biggest things, reasons that the small colonies don't make it through the winter, even though there's honey in the box, is because a small cluster doesn't, like, they don't break the cluster. They don't reach to the fringe frames. They don't reach to the first frame or the 10th frame. So having a narrower setup for smaller colonies is useful for the bees. And if you got 2 small colonies, I have people who overwintered like 2 frame of bees in Kentucky. It may or may not get as cold in there as it does in here, but sometimes like some of my beekeepers are actually take it as a challenge to see what is the smallest colony that they can overwinter. And see, when you got excess colonies and you're adventurous, you can give it a try. So when you have a division board and have 2, 3 frame colonies, you can actually watch them thrive, you watch them build a lot faster. And you can add another deep super, add another division board in the middle. So you can use a 3+3 and they have more access. They use it as a double mix and store 2 colonies in the same hive. I had a clicker somewhere right here.
On top of the.
Oh, there it is. So you got colonies everywhere from Arizona to Alaska to Massachusetts to Florida. I couldn't find a picture from Utah, but once I do, I'm gonna update this one. This is what it looks like in the winter again, and this is what it looks like in Texas summer. And let's do the raffle. And does everyone have a ticket? Are we good? All right. By the way, I'm gonna be giving out this 7 frame hive without the frames. It's a $195 value. Look, in here is $175 actually. And I have a coupon UT10 as basically 10% off extra on our website at apimayeusa.com. So we have on our website, we actually have bulk discounts. So if you buy like 4 hives, you get an extra like 5% off. If you get like 8 hives, it gets an 8% off. And this coupon is in addition to that. So if you just combine together, if you're like 3 friends and want to buy 8 hives, you would already get 8% off. And with this one, get another 10% off. So that $250 like 10 frame hive becomes $200 shipped. I do free shipping and don't collect sales tax from Utah. And that's basically it. Let's draw something. Thanks for listening, by the way. My heart is racing around. All right, the last 3 numbers, 272. All right, congratulations. Anyone have any questions? No, not really? Huh?
I did.
All right, well, thanks for listening.